and welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back to the channel, guys, where that was absolutely shambolic. What was that? What was that performance? Why bother coming? Why bother travelling to the game today if you're Barca, if you were never ever going to show up? What was the point? We were expecting something special, and we were expecting the team to show up today and ultimately start the season here. We've been underwhelming. We've been very unconvincing throughout the season so far. We were all looking to latch on to something. One big test tonight, and this is what we get. This is the performance that is put in. It is absolutely shocking from Barca. This is a disastrous display. Chelsea tonight, they could have scored more. Easily could have scored more. And we're going to talk about the red card. We're going to talk about the absolutely horrific mistakes that we saw. But it's not just about that. Chelsea would have walked all over Barca with 10 men, with 11 men, probably with 12 men in this system. It's just embarrassing. It's such an awful night, and we need to talk about it because you know what? I can excuse a bad performance. I can excuse an individual mistake. It can happen. These are players. These are humans. What we cannot accept as fans are repeat errors. Errors that you keep making. Mistakes that keep happening. And we can't excuse them anymore. We can't continue to bail players and this team out. Let's talk about this. Time for honesty. Let's go. Because first things first, look at Chelsea's lineup. Look at the way that they came into this game tonight. And they just did something that was obvious. It was glaring. It was right there for everybody to see. They didn't line up with a recognised number 9. You know why? They didn't need to. All Chelsea needed to do tonight, they knew it, everybody knows it, have as many quick players there, players who can run in behind, players there that can exploit the enormous gaps that will appear if you are facing Barcelona, and just get them to run into that space and hopefully time it correctly. And Chelsea, to be fair, a lot of their runs, they didn't time well. A lot of their runs tonight actually were a little bit off. They weren't as clinical as they could have been in the final third. They should have scored more. They were in so many good positions and it was easy. And at no point tonight, whether it was with 11 men, whether it was with 10 men, at no point did somebody look around and think, what are we doing? Why are we not adapting? Why are we not reacting here? This system, it is not working. It's just not working. How many more times do we have to see? Whether it's Chelsea, whether it's Elche, there are teams everywhere around the world that will find ways to simply expose this system. And yet we don't learn. We never seem to learn. And Chelsea were piling the pressure on. Like I say, they had disallowed goal after disallowed goal. And you're thinking, if you're Barca, are you going to wake up in a minute? Because Barca did nothing. They were first to every ball, Chelsea. Barca, they didn't turn up today. There was no intensity in the game. I was expecting to come out and see fireworks from Barca. Hunting down the ball, looking to win it back, darting into room, darting into spaces. Nothing happened. They literally turned up tonight and did nothing. Chelsea had all the play. Chelsea had all of the chances. And it was only a matter of time before they took the lead in the game. And of course, they do it very, very easily. It's a simple ball there into Cucurella. This time it is onside. Simple ball across the box. And it's bundled home. It's an absolute mess from Barca's point of view defensively. Tonight, again, it was all over the shop. It was absolute chaos. But can I just draw your attention quickly to one thing that happened before Chelsea scored? Can we talk about Ferran Torres' chance? Now, this is mistake number 1. It's at a crucial point in the game. It's at 0-0. If Ferran scores here, we have no idea what would have happened. Yeah, Chelsea might have gone on to score anyway. We don't know. They might have gone on to score many, many more goals in the game. We just don't know at the end of the day. But Ferran has this chance at 0-0. And it's a shocker. It really is. There's no excuse for this. And this is one of my issues. When I'm talking about repeat mistakes, when I'm talking about the excuses that we make for our players, Ferran does this. It was to absolutely no surprise to any of us that he misses the target there. Because, yeah, he's scoring more frequently now. He scored, a decent amount of goals this season. He scored a decent amount of goals last season. He is a decent striker. He's a decent player in the box. But I'm talking about decent. I'm not talking about top quality here. This is not a world-class finisher. He has these misses in him. And when they come in the biggest of moments. In a Champions League game, the score very finely poised. That is a golden chance. That is right in front of goal there. The net is there for you, and you completely miss it. So already, we're up against it. That was a massive moment. It's a game-changing moment. Ferran Torres spurns a beautiful opportunity to take the lead. And yeah, Barca, since that moment, they didn't have another chance like that. They had nothing like that, in fact, because Chelsea then went from strength to strength. Which then brings us on to individual mistake number 2. Ronald Araujo. Now, let's get ready for this. Ronald Araujo. When he lunged in for that tackle, my blood was boiling. It is still boiling now. What are you doing? Honestly, what is going through your mind? You are the Barca captain tonight. You are leading that back line. It's a high-stakes Champions League game. It's 1 minute before half-time. It's 1 goal. That's all that it is right now. 1 goal in the game. Chelsea are leading, but Barca, they can come back. They've got 11 men. We've got half-time to come. We can regroup and come back out for the second half. What you don't do when you're on a yellow is lunge into that tackle. Now, he's experienced enough. He should be experienced enough to know that. There's just nothing going on. There's nothing going on in that head. In these big moments, in these big Champions League moments, he just stops thinking. Araujo, I'm sorry, this has happened too many times now. One mistake I could excuse. But look at the game against PSG. He single-handedly cost us that game. The game against Inter in the Champions League, he was horrific. And yet we're still making excuses for him. We're still saying, he'll come out, he'll find his best level, we should keep him on, he's a good centre-back at his best, he's a good player, when he comes back from injury, he'll be quite good. No, we have to stop this. This is unacceptable now. How many more big mistakes in the Champions League are we going to allow? How many more? Because Araujo tonight, it's shocking he does that. There's no reason there to lunge in. You're on a yellow. It's not even that much of a dangerous situation. At the end of the day, it's Cucurella on the left-hand side entering the half. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. And he leaves Barca with a mountain to climb. And the thing about Araujo is, when he got sent off against PSG, and Kounde after the game, remember that? He was very critical of Araujo. He said, look, ultimately, we had to pay for his mistake. We all had to work hard. We've gone out in the end. It was up against it because of the red card. Araujo then didn't take that criticism well. He never owned up to that mistake. He never held his hands up and said, you know what? I was at fault. And that, for me, that is not a good sign. And that is why we continue to see from him repeat mistakes. He's not learning, he's not adapting, he is not evolving in his game, he is still making incredibly rash, damaging decisions, and enough is enough. For me, tonight in a big Champions League game, it's the same story, it's the same result for him. This is the final straw. We have all had enough. But this is the thing, guys, because at the same time, I don't want to excuse the team's performance. Every single player that was out there tonight, and the coach as well, I don't want to excuse all of that poor display and say, it's all Araujo's fault. Now, for me, Araujo, it was shocking. It was terrible. Like I say, for me, that's unforgivable. Another mistake like that. But let's not bail the rest of the team out. The rest of the team that stayed out there, it's awful. There are so many players in this Barcelona team right now, which if you compare their level to last season, they are way off it. You look at the defenders that we have at the club right now, there's nothing there. There's no quality performances. And again, you're looking at the system. Is it the system? Is the system right now falling down and everybody seems swallowed into it? Is that what's happening? Because we just don't know. Hansi Flick is on the sideline. What is he thinking? When he's seeing Chelsea break through at every conceivable opportunity, it's 1-0, it's 2-0, it's 3-0, could be 4-0, 5-0, 6-0. What's he thinking? Is there any doubt in his mind about what he's doing? Because ultimately, I've said this before, he believes in the system. And I understand the system can work. We saw it work last season. We had the element of surprise, admittedly, but we saw it work last season. Now, though, it's not working. These players out there today, they are not capable of playing this highline system. Whether they are not capable, I don't know, or whether they just don't want to. But either way, it ain't happening. So where do we go from here? Because if we continue to make the same mistakes over and over and over, sure, we might get some wins in La Liga. Real Madrid are nearly as bad as us, so we might actually win La Liga anyway. It might happen. But in terms of the Champions League, when you come against the best teams, when you come against teams who are going to prepare the games tactically up against us, they will find their way through every single time. Any half-decent team, even Club Brugge did it in the Champions League. Even teams that we go up against there, they will find their way through because this system, it continues to fail us. In the biggest of moments, up against the best teams who make a plan, you can find your way through. And I just want to know what Flick is thinking, because he is somebody here who is incredibly set in his ways. He's got his principles, he's got his style of play. I know we all massively appreciate what he brought to the club, the way that he revolutionised Barca in such a short space of time. Last season, it was incredible. The football was end to end. It was enthralling. But that's not what's happening now. We cannot live in the past and think, oh yeah, we'll recapture the levels of last season. Because it's just not happening. You know, how many more times here are we just going to kid ourselves into thinking that this is actually going to get back to what it was? That, yeah, when we get the injured players back, well, the injured players are coming back now. It still looks the same. You know, I just don't know. And my head right now, it's in a frenzy. Because I honestly expected tonight Barca to at least try. You know, that's the bottom line here. When Flick came in, he had his standards. He had his commandments. Almost in the same way that when Xavi came in, he had his standards. He had, you know, the levels there that he would set for the players, and everybody raised their levels. And now, what's going on? Because the players out there, they're not trying. They're not putting in the work. They are not applying what Flick is probably telling them to do. And this is the result. We have been tonight embarrassed by Chelsea. Losing is one thing. We lost against PSG in the Champions League. It can happen. You come up against top teams in a one-off game, you can lose. Tonight, though, we were outclassed in every single area. Individually, we were nowhere near. Collectively, we look absolutely broken. Where do we go from here? What's going to change? What happens next? We need some answers, guys. We need to talk about these problems. And tonight it has been brutal honesty. And I haven't enjoyed this. You know, I love the build-up. I love being excited about Barca. I love having hope. I love having belief in the team. They've shattered it tonight. They have literally destroyed that in one performance because of the level that they showed. Or the level that they didn't show. So please let me know in the comments down below. Please get in the comments right now. Tell me your thoughts. Tell me your feelings. Am I going crazy? Am I going insane? You know, is this all just wrong? Please, I need to know your thoughts, guys. I'm going to break down here. I will see you soon. We will talk more about this. We have to talk more about this. Things are not right at the club right now. So let's talk about it soon. And thank you indeed for watching and for all of your great support. But until next time, as always, Vesca, El Barça.